All right, this is day number 3. Day number 3 on cabinets, Tom, or was yesterday number 3?
I'm not sure, but I know since we last were on camera, we did we got a refrigerator in here, which allows us to go ahead and set this island.
All right.
And that's what we're doing right now. Once again, we took all the drawers and doors off our island fixture. Marked everything so we know where it goes back on.
Yeah.
We situated the island exactly where we want it to go. So we got our measurements and we said this is where the island's going to go. And then we marked these corners with tape so that we know the island's going to go exactly right where the corners are. Okay? And I'm beating this around here a little bit just to show you. Because we jumped the gun. We didn't have the camera on. What's that look like? That us? That's us?
Yeah, it's close.
I mean, I can take an eighth off that edge of that wood on this side. Just
I wouldn't. I'd just bump the other side over an eighth more the other way, because it'll go that way.
Well, what we do is once we have our island marked where it goes, we're exactly where we want it, I'm going to tip this thing forward, and I'm going to show you what we did here.
Now, pay attention to this, guys, because this is what holds your island, which is out in the middle of nowhere. Yep. In position, nobody can tip it over, it can't be knocked over, knocked off its mark.
Yep. What we did is I measured in, this says 1 1/4 inches, so from my tape mark, which was right on this outside edge, we measured in and set a block of wood within 1 1/4 inches. I mean, this can have a little bit of play, because once it's fastened, it's fastened.
All right, now the reason he did that is this is 1 1/4 inches thick, all right? This outside edge is the inside of the tape here, so we have to make sure that between the plane of our board and the tape, this little brown area here, this piece of wood's going to flop right back down in there and fit. All right, that's what we did there.
Yep. We also did the same thing on this side. Right here is the edge of my cabinet. It's a half inch. You got a little play that way, but you want to keep it as tight to this 1 1/4 inches as you know can. We basically went 1 3/8 to 1 1/2 inches, and we fastened this wood down through the ceramic by finding the grout joints. We drilled right down through and fastened it through the grout joints in the original plywood using a nice long hex head washer bolt meat eater.
These came right out of the bin at Home Depot. All right, they're 4 inches long. They got a hex head on the end, which fits right in the hex head driver. And we used an impact cordless drill to put one of these in. Actually, Tom can we'll run one of them up there to show you what we did there.
What's that?
Just show them how we got those in there. What we used.
Yep. Basically, like I said, we found our grout joint where they both intersected. We pre-drilled down through, and then just so we know this is mounted hard.
Right.
Once our cabin is flipped up, this all gets a base trim going around it. So we're just going to take like 3-inch drywall screws and literally screw 1, 2, 3 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on that side, and that's good enough.
And they'll go right into those blocks.
And that's going to keep it from tipping any which way.
Right.
We also had to get electric in our island. I put a zip box on the side of the island, you know, on the raised panel section.
Now, a zip box is one of those boxes, unlike one you nail on. This is the back side of it. It's got those little ears that flip around. All right, see how that holds it in place? There's one on that side, and there's also one on the other side there, okay?
Yep, and I kept it just under our drawer assembly.
Right.
But you have to have if you have an island, you have to have an outlet on it.
Now we've located ours right below the drawer tracks, all right? So it's in a spot of the cabinet that's not going to interfere with the drawer sliding.
Yeah, and I kept it up high enough so you can still use the shelving also.
Right, right.
Plus it'll be easier to plug something in instead of way down low. Some people want them way down in the toe kick area, which is kind of like useless. I mean, if you're going to have one, you might as well have it where you can.
Yeah, we'd rather that way you can put a blender or something up on top of that when you have company, and plug a crock pot in or something like that on the island. So, and it is code actually to have. You have to have electric in your island.
At least one. Some people want one on each side.
Okay.
All right. With all that being said,
now that wire is just going to be hidden in the hollow space underneath there. When he tips that up, you see you got 4 inches of hollow space underneath your island. The wire is just going to be right underneath there. It'll be safe underneath there. All right, flip it up. Now we're over top of those treated blocks of wood that Tom put down.
Yep, and we'll just re-square it off where we want to be. That looks good to me. I'm perfect half-inch off my tape corner here. Perfect half-inch off my tape, and I'm on the straight and on the straight.
Now what we did was, to make sure we were square with our kitchen, is we went over and put our tape right on the bottom of that toe kick over there. And we measured off the toe kick, and this is how we square it up with the kitchen.
I mean, either that, or we could actually, we can come right off the cabinet.
Yeah, we've got about 47 3/4 there.
Yeah. Coming right off our cabinet.
Double check it on the other side. Right about there.
Yeah.
All right, that looks good.
And that's exactly where we're going to fasten it. Once again, our wire's ready to go up in a box. Now that this is stood up, you can see how this has doors over here. I kept the box out of the way, you know, way up high. We kept our wire nice and flat. We'll come in flat and go right into it, so you can still use your island in there. I'm going to go find me three 3-inch drywall screws, and I'm going to go ahead and just pin this to the floor. And
now we'll probably pre-drill this so we don't split anything, and we probably will countersink the head of our drywall screw.
Put a countersink tip on there and then just zap them in.
All right.
I have one 4-incher.
Do you think 2.5s will work, Tom?
Well, we got 1.25 of wood. 2.5s or 3s will work. Yep. Yeah, we'll put 3 of them in there, and I can countersink. It in that wood.
We still got 2.5s. I think these are them right here, Tom. Okay, so if your kitchen doesn't have an island, this part of the video really isn't going to mean a whole lot to you, but often people wonder how the island gets fastened to the floor so that it doesn't move. They don't just sit there. They do get mounted down through the floor. Now, some guys will mount it to the plywood floor, then tile around them, all right? A lot of guys will tell you, mount it before you set the tile. That's just a pain in the rear end, if you ask me. We like to have everything out of the way when we tile. It took us literally 5 minutes to mount those 2 blocks of wood with a hammer drill.
Yep.
All right.
That was a piece of cake. Okay.
All right, so we're going to use the same drill, the same pattern that we used when we did our cabinets, when we fastened our cabinets together. We're going to use our countersink bit, which you know by now sinks the head of the screw in. Makes that nice countersink hole so that the head of the drywall screw is flush. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to need to not only countersink the head of the screw, we're also going to have to pre-drill because we're going through solid maple. And it's tough to run a drywall screw through maple when it's not piloted the whole way through. There we go. Now he's through.
Oh.
Now he's through. And we're going to use our cordless ratchet drill. That's it.
That's it. Back to the drawing board.
Countersink first. Pile it out the hole second. And then with a number 2 Phillips head bit on your drill.
You got a screw?
I got some 2.5s. And almost all drywall screws require a number 2 Phillips head bit. And there we go.
Okay. Yeah, put 3 on each side.
Yeah, now we got a real heavy slab of granite going on top of this island, which is really going to weight it down too. But the thing you got to worry about with islands is, you know, tipping them over. Somebody's sitting on the edge of it or something stupid like that, and not being fastened to the floor very good, and then you have a catastrophe on your hands. So you want to make sure that no matter what you have, you may not have a tile floor in your kitchen. You may have a hardwood floor. Well, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to run your block. You're going to run your mounting blocks for your island down through your hardwood floor. Same thing.
Okay.
You may have a vinyl floor going in your kitchen. God forbid you do.
1/2 inch off and a 1/2 inch off.
I think, you know, personally speaking, I think vinyl's a little cheesy. It's a disposable flooring, and for a custom kitchen, something you're going to put blood, sweat, and tears into, please consider hardwood or tile, please. Now Tom's getting smart. He said, if I do it this way, I'll only have to change out my tip once in between the countersink and the regular one.
Yeah, you live and learn.
Yeah, I'm busting chops here. I can't think of a better sidekick than Tom here for any project that I do. When you got Tom on the job, you got all trades on the job at all times. And I can't say that about many other people that I know in the business. You know, you've heard the old cliche,
There you go.
jack of all trades, master of none. Well, Tom truly is just about a master of all of them.
Alrighty.
How's that feel, Tom?
Good. Real good.
I saw you grab a hold of that island and give it a couple of yanks. It didn't move. There's our wire coming out of our blue box on the other side there. All right, and we got ourselves a 110 outlet in the island.